Welcome back to Cityline. With me, I have T.U.P.A.C in the house. And if you are not sure what T.U.P.A.C is, well, buckle up, Buttercup, because you're about ready to find out. Please join me in welcoming the T.U.P.A.C School Director, and T.U.P.A.C stands for Tacoma Urban Performing Art Center, Deshawn Morton. Welcome, my dear.
Good morning, Amanda. How are you?
I am so happy to have you on the comfy couch.
Good. I'm excited to be here.
And this is the first of many times that you're going to be on this couch, because things are happening at T.U.P.A.C.
T.U.P.A.C is moving, and we're moving very quickly.
You are.
And we're seeing some great things.
Yes, you are. Speaking of great things, the woman next to you, Shatara Baker, you are the T.U.P.A.C stage manager. And honey, you are gorgeous from head to toe. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm glad to be here.
So let's talk about the origins of T.U.P.A.C, because you just said something that I think is really applicable, that we're picking up steam.
Yeah.
It seemed quiet at first. Occasionally we heard, oh, there's something going on Hilltop with dance.
Yeah.
But then suddenly it blew up and it's everywhere. So tell us about those origins.
Yeah. So T.U.P.A.C it was started by Cabby Mitchell III and Claire Etheridge. So Claire Etheridge is our current executive director, and Cabby Mitchell was not only the first Black dancer with the Pacific Northwest Ballet, but he was also my mentor. So he was the man that took me under his wing and showed me that ballet and professional dance was actually an option for a young Black man. So the two of them together, the school was Cabby's brainchild, and he brought Claire on to help to bring everything to life. Unfortunately, Cabby passed away 2 months before the school opened. And so Claire has been pushing forward his dream and his mission, and has added her own spin and touch to it. And so T.U.P.A.C just celebrated our 5th year anniversary this past year in 2022. And as we move forward and expand towards the future, we're increasing our programming. We're working on a new build where we'll have 10,000 square feet of space for studio, space for dancing, as well as for arts instruction as a whole.
Wow, I am sitting here, and my first thought was, oh my gosh, how is Catherine working through all of the grief of losing Cabby, but still, Claire, of losing Cabby, but having to move forward with that vision, because Cabby would not want Claire to stop.
Absolutely.
It's like, you got to do this for me.
Absolutely.
So when we think about types of performing arts instruction offered at T.U.P.A.C, give us the full banquet. What do we get?
Yeah, so as of right now, we're primarily a classical ballet school.
Okay.
So since Cabby was a ballet dancer, Claire herself was a ballet dancer. She trained at the School of American Ballet.
Wow, in New York.
Yes.
Yes.
And so the school is based in ballet right now, but we're also offering a lot of different types of dance. So we have Afrobeats, which has swept the nation right now as far as social media. Afrobeats is really climbing as a trending dance form. We offer West African classes. We have flamenco classes as well. And then we have open adult classes in our ballet forms. And we're actually going to be starting a jazz class coming up very soon. So our Saturday jazz class will be happening starting this week.
Yes! Oh, I love that. So you've mentioned that it's located on Hilltop. Shatara, why is being located on Hilltop important for T.U.P.A.C?
Well, when you look around Hilltop now, you see a lot of changes, right?
Yes.
And a lot of those changes are not Black changes.
Yeah.
A lot of those changes.
Gentrified changes.
Definitely gentrified
I can
changes.
say that, yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's gentrified.
And so T.U.P.A.C represents the beauty in the Black community when it comes to theater and art. And it shows the tiny Black and brown girls and boys that there are other options outside of sports, outside of being a singer. Because at T.U.P.A.C, you can be a singer, a dancer. Black and brown girls do ballet. Black and brown boys do ballet. So having T.U.P.A.C on the Hilltop shows and represents to the younger Black and brown people that there are other options. And it doesn't have to be a degree to be a doctor. It doesn't have to be a degree to be a teacher. It can be you are a phenomenal dancer, a phenomenal artist, performer.
That's right. And that message, just when it goes out, it brings all the community back in. because
Exactly.
Everybody can dance. and
Absolutely.
Everybody can be a part of a community.
Right.
So tell us about the guest artist who appeared in the Urban Nutcracker, Deshaun.
Yes. So Tupac has this really interesting way, especially in my time there, of connecting to history. And so this year, with what we try to do every year for our Urban Nutcracker, is bring in professional Black and BIPOC dancers to perform on stage with our students. That way, our students are able to see themselves represented in the professional world and understand what they're striving for, and use that inspiration when they come back to class to understand exactly why we work the way that we work. And so this year, we had the pleasure of welcoming 3 dancers from Pacific Northwest Ballet.
Whoa.
Yes. So we had Jonathan Batista, who is the first Black principal dancer at the Pacific Northwest Ballet.
Okay.
We had Ashton Edwards, who is the first non-binary dancer to be able to perform on point, who also had the opportunity to perform their dream role as Sugar Plum with the Pacific Northwest Ballet this year.
Wow.
And then thirdly, we had Sarah Gabrielle Ryan, who is also a soloist in the company, and she is a Latina. So we were able to kind of bring a lot of different BIPOC faces to the stage to really show the community just how great Black dance, Black art is and can be.
And I have to spill the beans a little bit because your background is in classical ballet dance.
Yes.
And your generous soul opens up and then brings all these connections back to Tupac.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you.
It doesn't get any better than that. Let's talk about, in addition to Tupac's The Urban Nutcracker, what other programming do you share with Tacoma?
Yeah, so the big thing that's really starting to happen, so like I said, T.U.P.A.C has been primarily a ballet school. Our youth program is rooted in classical ballet, and we're working on expanding that, bringing more jazz and hip hop options. But we also have a vision of being a performing arts and a cultural hub
Yes.
for the Hilltop community.
Yes.
And so we are working on a show called Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. And that show is a community theater production that actually involves artists of all levels, from beginner, novice to professional. And we plan on continuing to put on different productions where we can involve the community in all different types of performing arts.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to hear from a stage manager point of view. Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. Boy, that title is something.
Yes.
I mean, that title just tugs at my heart and makes me want to watch the dance and to see the non-coping through movement and fury and frustration and tears. Is that what you're seeing this on the stage do?
You know, the more I see the community members portray these different roles, the more I realize just how impactful Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope music is. So I find myself listening to the soundtrack and I'm thinking to myself, I have to keep moving. And there's a line in Billy's Blues where some folks are going is already where you've been.
Yes.
And so when we talk about seeing people in these spaces that we haven't occupied yet, we recognize there's room for us.
Yes.
And I can influence the next person. So Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope is something you have to see for sure.
And just the way you just said it just now, Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope, gave me a different feel of, don't bother me, I'm trying to learn something about something that I am going through that they've already gone through. And so in many ways, they are mentors, they're community leaders that are acting out racism, not getting a job, redlining, all of those things that we are working on that we have failed in the past 400 years to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Let's talk about why Black community is so important in Hilltop, especially the theater part. What's your thought on that?
I grew up in Hilltop.
Yes!
I'm born and raised. I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital, and I grew up in the 90s. So growing up, all I saw was a lot of drug violence, gang violence, police violence, and those are still things that we see today.
Yes.
And so if this program would have been around back in the 90s, there's so many different opportunities that myself and the people that I grew up with could have had.
Absolutely.
But a lot of the times, again, we were pushed to sports and we were pushed to maybe modeling and things like that. Now, that's not my testimony. But for me, having this here says, Tacoma, you can do it. There's room for you. There's always going to be room for places and people like you.
That's
You
right.
deserve these spaces.
Yeah.
And being in T.U.P.A.C is going to give these students and just the community members another way to give back to their community. I'm a student at Evergreen State College, Tacoma, and Cabby Mitchell was actually an alumni
Yes.
of,
Yes, he was.
the Evergreen State College, Tacoma. So when I'm talking about T.U.P.A.C, they're going, what? Wow, yes, go see that. Go be a part of this. Be a part of something bigger than you.
Yes.
There it is. Be a part of something that's bigger than you. And if that means buying a ticket, making a donation, buying a season subscription, or bringing your child in to see their first black ballerina, that's what it should be.
Yes.
Let's, in these last few minutes, Deshawn, talk about children and teen classical ballet programming, because the ballerinas I know, and we have 50 seconds left,
Yes.
they work from dawn to dusk.
They do. They work very hard. So they say it takes about 10 years in order to make a ballet dancer. And so our training is very structured and regimented through those 10 years. I believe it can be done sooner than that, depending upon how hard you work.
Yes.
I personally didn't start dancing until 16. I was born in Tacoma, as Shatara had mentioned. We, typically were pushed towards sports and other things, so I didn't find dance until later. However, it builds a discipline that you can take with you through the rest
Yes.
of your life. It builds a work ethic,
It
an
does.
understanding of how to slowly and incrementally work towards a goal.
So we're going to stop you right there, because that's the teaser I'm going to leave our viewers with.
For the
To
next,
come see the show, enroll your children,
absolutely.
and be a part of the magic. Thank you both for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having
Amanda.
us.
You're welcome. When we come back, Working Families Tax Credit will be in the house. Alejandra, you don't want to miss that. We'll be right back after this.